TMT. There you go. I got my letters correct. Hey, we're all spirits on a human journey here to fulfill a soul purpose. And what are we going to experience in life? So here's the question for you. What's the question? How much time are you wasting? Because we're a spirit in human form, so we have a finite amount of time. There's a limited amount of time that we're here in this human body. So how do we choose to spend it? Right? So let's look at the word spend. Spend means to elapse. It means to give up or give away. It even means to waste. So how are we going to choose to spend our time? Well, we're here. Hey, I need my notes today. Hey, so if we're emotional beings and we can choose our experiences and we can choose our emotions. So the emotions that we choose will determine how we give up time, how we elapse time, even possibly how we waste time. So it seems if we have a limited time to spend, then what choice are we going to make? And what experience and emotion are we going to experience as we pass through time? Right? My choice and what I'm suggesting is let's choose love. Because if we have a choice and we can experience a whole spectrum of emotions, what are we focused on? So if we choose our experiences, now it's pretty well known that we all come here with a purpose, and people that fail to fulfill that purpose focus on small things. They get stuck on the emotion. They focus on the small things every step in life, and then they become emotionally overwhelmed. And what do they focus on? They focus on what they don't have. They focus on problems. They're trying to solve this thing, and they get stuck on an emotion that stops them from fulfilling their purpose, right? So they create problems in relationships that don't really exist, right? Because you focus on what's wrong. And it's so fascinating because we're surrounded by love, yet what we focus on, we can't even experience it. How many times does a partner tell us they love us, but we don't feel that or receive it in our body? How many times does a partner give us a kiss, but depending on the emotion and things we're focusing on, we don't really experience that? Yeah, we may appreciate it, but we're stuck in an emotion that can't really experience it in our body. And so what do? Do we give that loving expression back? Or do we take that like there's a bottomless well, and no matter what's poured into it, because of our focus, it doesn't fill us up? It's amazing how common that is, and then we create problems in our relationship because we look for faults rather than noticing the blessings. So people that do fulfill their vision, they have big picture focus. They don't get stuck on the small things. They don't focus on what they don't have. They focus on what they do have. They move through small problems in the relationships. They don't get stuck on small arguments that can lead into big arguments and other things. And they focus on love. People with a spiritual reference point, research shows they tend to be happier. They tend to move through stress better. Things that happen in life may get them down temporarily, but it doesn't keep them down, and they tend to fulfill their vision. So if we have a finite amount of time, do we focus on small things, or do we have big picture focus and choose to experience love? Because masters become masters because they choose the same thing every time. That's how they become masters. And so maybe you feel like, hey, I'm not a master yet, but you have every opportunity at every moment to make a choice of what you choose to experience. So how fast can your life change? Here's really the impetus for this message. I have a client that just found out yesterday. He has one remaining sibling in his life, one family member that's remaining. And he dove into, I forget if it was like a shallow pond or a pool, smacked himself on the head, broke his neck, and now he's a quadriplegic. So we found out, one phone call, my only surviving relative is now quadriplegic. I just got a text this morning, he had surgery, but there's still no movement. Fortunately for medical care today, they can restore the curves in the neck, create a fusion, do a fusion, and relieve the stress on the spinal cord, and over time, they're not paralyzed anymore. So prayers, his name is Jim, prayers to Jim that God is healing him now, that this is already done. Then a few days ago, a very close friend and family of mine were on a vacation in a lake. The father is in a boat watching his sons jump off this cliff. He sees his son's position. He sees, oh my God, it's a 50-foot drop. There's a rock sticking out that he can't see. He's yelling out to him, but his son can't hear. The son drops, smashes against the rock, breaks 3 ribs, broke his wrist, broke his spine, and now needs back surgery. With and normally people with this type of spinal fracture have a 75% chance of paralysis, but we know God's healing him. The surgeon feels good that he can make significant corrections. So prayers, name is Daniel. Prayers to Daniel and to Jim that God, the process is already done. God is healing them. That they get everything, that their sole purpose is there. Things happen for a reason. We may not understand them or know why, but they are here to fulfill a sole purpose. And if this is not in their sole purpose, that this healing is already done. So when you come back and you see, man, your life can change this fast with a phone call, with a diagnosis, how do we choose to spend, give up, elapse, and sometimes even waste moments on things that are so small that we lose our big picture focus? We lose it in the tasks we're going to do. We lose it in the small things in a relationship. We lose it in the appreciation and acknowledgement of our partner, and mainly of God, and with love within ourselves. So there's a number of action steps. If you have this book or you don't have this book, You're More Powerful Than You Think. The whole second step in Healed is exercising. What's another word for exercising? Experiencing love for yourself and others. Go to that chapter, read it several times, take the action steps in there, because life can change so fast with a phone call, in a moment, in a diagnosis. But we have a sole purpose, and disease, injury, all those things just may not be part of that. So let's stay protected. Let's stay exercising and experiencing love. And whoever you feel in your heart today that you know you want to exercise and experience love with, give them a call, visit them, feel that within yourself, fill ourselves with love first, so not only are we blessed, but we can be a blessing to others. And spread this around, so we have millions of people around the world sending prayers for Daniel and for Jim, that God is already doing his work. The healing and the healed is already done. I thank you that we can be a blessing, not only to these two, but to ourselves, so we can be a blessing and experience and exercise love to others. Thanks. I love you guys.